July 22nd, 2022. Halfcast
Run that up,
328,
EJ.
episode 328. Happy Friday, y'all. Of course, I have a few things to share with you guys. An evening of reflection. Shall we? Michigan woman killed by husband called 911 days after requesting a protection order that was denied. I do believe that if someone has gone off the rails, then they do not care about a protection order. It's still just a piece of paper for them. But at the very least, protection orders and restraining orders should highlight to law enforcement. It should be a fast track to let them know that there's an escalating situation going on. In the event that a protection order or restraining order is not a complete answer, it still serves as a way to let law enforcement, to let responders know that this is not just another domestic dispute. This is an ongoing and escalating situation going in. The Michigan woman killed this month by her estranged husband after a judge denied a request for a protection order, had twice called 911 dispatchers in the days after she requested the order, saying her husband was harassing her, authorities said. If I'm a judge, my whole vibe would be if someone went through all this trouble to come before me to ask me for a protection order, there has to be a cause for some legitimate concern, if for at least a temporary protection order until the courts get a chance to evaluate the situation. What I am not going to do is give someone the old, you crazy kids are just in love, you'll figure it out, and wave them off. Tyranny Savage called dispatchers on June 26th while she was away from home and said her husband, Bo Eugene Savage, was verbally threatening her, according to the Roscommon County Central Dispatch, which manages the county's 911 and police dispatch calls. With a name like Bo Eugene, the only career path you left to him, aside from being an abusive husband, is an extreme fisherman or backyard wrestler. During the same call, she told a dispatcher she had filed a request for a protection order only 2 days earlier. She called 911 the following day, alleging her husband was home and slamming stuff around, according to the county's central dispatch. This is exactly where the use of the protection order or the restraining order would have came in, because on the phone, hearing that someone's husband is just slamming stuff around and is just a little irate, it doesn't seem like much. But to someone who already has a protective or restraining order, you would already know that there's an escalating situation ongoing. It completely changes the response. It completely changes the nature of the phone call. About 2 weeks later, 35-year-old Tyranny Savage, her son, and her mother were found dead, along with Bo Savage, who authorities say died by self-inflicted gunshot. The Roscommon County Sheriff's Office Central Dispatch said was notified of both June calls. Roscommon County Undersheriff Ben Lowe said Thursday a deputy wasn't able to meet with Tyranny Savage on June 26th because she was not home, but spoke to her by phone. A deputy went to the Houghton Lake home the next day and separated the estranged couple. Lowe said he noted there was not a complaint of a physical assault on either call Tyranny Savage made to authorities in June. Maybe she didn't want any potential blowback that would go along with openly accusing her husband of any type of abuse in front of the authorities. Getting the restraining order quietly was her way of responding to getting away from this guy with the least friction possible. Tyranny Savage filed for a protection order June 24th in Michigan's 34th Circuit Court, claiming her husband had bought a gun, repeatedly threatened suicide, and refused to leave the family's home in Houghton Lake. In her request for the protection order, Tyranny Savage wrote about her husband's threats and recent behavior, stating he has mental health issues, he quit taking his meds, and recently purchased a firearm that is concerning to me. He keeps saying he is going to blow his brains out, and I do not want my safety or my son's safety in jeopardy. These are legitimate concerns. Her request was denied 3 days later, nearly 2 weeks before the family was killed. In his denial, Judge Troy Daniel wrote that Tyranny Savage could request a restraining order in divorce court. The document said she filed for divorce on July 7th. So this cold bastard couldn't even grant this woman a temporary 30-day, 60-day restraining order, something to hold just until she got the divorce paperwork properly filed away and that restraining order picked up. I would like to hope that judge understands that his inaction could have quite possibly cost these people their lives. On July 10th, deputies in Roscommon Township, roughly 115 miles north of Lansing, were dispatched to a home around 3:30 a.m. and found the bodies of Tyranny Savage, Bo Savage, 35, her son Dayton Cowdery, 13, and her mother Kim Lynette Ebright, 58. The county sheriff's office said in a news release. The sheriff's office announced Friday that Bo Savage had legally obtained a gun found at the scene. Autopsy reports state Tyranny Savage, her son, and her mother died from gunshot wounds in a homicide. Bo Savage killed himself by a gunshot, the sheriff's office said. Daniel, the judge, and Nancy Gallagher, Tyranny Savage divorce attorney, did not immediately return requests for comment Thursday. I have a comment. Doing nothing has consequences also. Next up, Brooklyn woman convicted of husband's murder for hire is getting new trial. As you grow up, you should understand that there is no such thing as Santa Claus. There's no such thing as the Easter Bunny, and there's no such thing as hitmen. There's only one hitman. An appeals court has tossed a murder conviction against a Brooklyn woman serving life in prison for hiring a paid killer to off her husband. Oh, colorful language from the New York Daily News, ruling that the trial judge screwed up while giving instructions to the jury. Judges are 0 for 2 tonight. Alicia Noel Murray, 34, who was found guilty in 2017 of paying an assassin. That is a very generous, over the top description. $3,500 to kill her hubby, Omar Murray, will get a new trial. The New York State Appellate Division Second Department ruled on Wednesday. How much did you want your husband out the paint that you will only pay someone $3,500? No cheese on the burger for the murder, just the basic package. It's just a whole as is, you get what you pay for, no guarantee of the work type of vibe. Noelle Murray hid upstairs with her 10-month-old baby, cold as ice, as her husband was fatally shot inside their Brownsville home on February 24th, 2013. The four-judge panel determined that Brooklyn Supreme Court Judge Neil Feiertag never instructed the jury that the prosecution's star witness, Noelle Murray's lover, Damian Lavelle, was an accomplice to the crime and his testimony must be corroborated as a matter of state law. How do you forget to swear in the side piece? Oh, that is the face of someone who's only sorry they got caught, and I would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for you meddling kids. Lavelle testified against Noelle Murray because how can you be loyal to someone who killed their own husband and the hired killer, Kirk Porteous, as part of a plea deal and was sentenced to 15 years to life? If your side piece can't do something small, like get your husband out of the paint, then why are you screwing somebody who can't do nothing for you? Had to bring in a third party and shell out $3,500 just to end up in this pickle of a predicament. Porcius was convicted at a separate trial and is also serving a life sentence. The prosecution presented additional evidence against Porteous, but the case against Noel Murray hinged on Lavelle's testimony. The appeals panel wrote in a four-page ruling, "We are pleased that the appellate division agreed with our argument that Miss Noel did not receive a fair trial," said Noel Murray's legal aid lawyer, David Crow. The trial court failed to instruct the jury on a fundamental legal principle. An accomplice's testimony must be examined with special care in light of his interest in testifying falsely to save his own skin. Without the alleged accomplice's testimony, the state did not have a case. Prosecutors argued that Noel Murray first tried to kill her husband in October 2012 by poisoning his dinner after she found out he cheated on her with a prostitute. Read the room. That one time she cooked something for you besides Alfredo. You should have knew there was trouble in paradise. When that failed, she started an affair with Lavelle. Why not just leave? And told him she wanted someone to kill Murray, 37, and that she needed her spouse dead to collect three life insurance. Oh, that's why she stuck around. This is messed up, man. Life insurance policies worth $900,000, prosecutors allege. If you stand to collect almost $1 million on insurance policies, don't you think you could have invested more in this than a value center hitman? Noel Murray remains in state prison as the case works its way back to Brooklyn Supreme Court. We will review the decision, said Oren Yaniv, a spokesman for Brooklyn District Attorney Eric Gonzalez. Next up, fury after fiance confesses to sleeping with dying ex as his final wish. The old one last time before I die routine gets him every time. A fiance's decision to grant an ex-boyfriend's dying wish was criticized online. What if he's still alive somewhere and laughing at this after her current partner shared exactly what it was? According to the partner who took to Reddit, oh, here we go, to share his upset in a popular post, the fiance decided to spend one final night with the ex who has since recently passed away. Well, that's a little bit more comforting. Then they were together for 6 years and split up 2 years prior to her current relationship. Not only is this selfish, but I want to know, what exactly are you dying from that you want to sleep with me now one last time? The fiance has remained distant since the funeral and refused to make eye contact, leading the current partner to simply suspect she was grieving the loss of her ex. However, he wrote in a post he found her crying at home and she confessed her actions. Okay, so how am I not to believe that you haven't been sleeping with your ex all the way up until now? It just so happens that this is only the last time because he's about to die. According to statistics, just less than half of people say they had sex with an ex, with 44% admitting to the deed in an Adam and Eve survey. For this engaged woman, however, the story was a little less straightforward than a drunken indiscretion or late night text. She started talking about him and his illness, who was there for him, who wasn't, etc. Who's sleeping with someone that's terminal? She then told me she was contacted by him 3 weeks before his death, asking to see her ill. She said she felt hesitant, but then went, "What type of hold does he have on her that you wouldn't believe that he wasn't banging her this whole time?" What she said next shook me. She said he told her about stopping his treatment for a while and how he felt alone and discouraged. It's a dick move, even for a dying man. He proceeded to ask if she could spend one night with him as his final wish before he passed on. She said she thought about it a lot and felt conflicted, but eventually agreed. He wrote, the fiance confessed to sleeping with her ex. Ill. I would not touch her with a 10-foot pole after that, but claimed she did not feel anything for him and simply did it out of guilt. That's bullshit. She keeps pleading with me to be understanding of the position she was put in and not wanting to dismiss his requests in his last days, wrote the partner, because it's clear we can only get one side of the story. How do we know she didn't just say yes, absolutely yes? I still don't think it's an excuse to do what she did. It was not, absolutely not an excuse. She said it wasn't about her or how she felt, but about him. It's easy to say it's about the dead guy that can't sit here and say it wasn't all about her. And maybe she was having cold feet about the marriage. I still feel like she's going, yeah, I'm biased. I still feel like she's wronged me and betrayed my trust and damaged the bond we have together. Although the partner admits to being hesitant about whether he should forgive her, but is edging towards being unable to. Reddit users were far more decided, and it isn't looking good for the woman. She's not the Ronald McDonald House. She doesn't have to be out there granting wishes. Wrote one user, if I were in your shoes, I couldn't forgive her. Loyalty shows in moments like this, and she didn't have it. Added another Reddit user agreed, writing, it's easier to ask forgiveness than it is permission. She wanted it or she would have not done it. Exactly. It's simple. Don't complicate it. Good luck. You should definitely leave her, they advised. I may not have acted the best way at the time, but I just wanted her to know how wrong this is and how broken my trust is in her right now, he shared. The silver lining in all this is that she told you before you two got married. And I'm almost positive that this was meant to be a deal breaker in the first place. Fun show. Fun show. Fun show. That being said, I'm going to wrap this one up, but I'll be sure to talk to you guys very, very soon. Adios.